Hello my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach and welcome back to my crochet channel. Now today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet our flower cluster granny bag. It's a sweet little 6-inch square made into a little granny bag. Has double drawstrings, which I really love, and you can make it with fringe or without. They make great little purses when you just want to take your phone and your wallet, maybe your keys. They're also great for the little girls that love to carry a little bag with them to put their treasures in. And they also make great gift bags. They're super fun to make, and they're a great way to get in your yarn stash and put some colors together and make some fun gift bags. These would be great for Christmas or birthdays. Lots of different holidays where you give a gift, you can use those colors to make these. They're super easy to make, and you can find the written pattern with pictures as always on my blog, and you can find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. To make our little cluster flower granny bag, you're going to need some yarn. And I'm using all Red Heart Super Saver today that I had in my yarn stash. Now you're going to need a main color. Of course, these are medium weight number 4 yarns. And you're going to need probably 2 ounces of your main color because you're going to be going around. You're going to be doing the top, your 2 drawstrings, some of your fringe, and of course there'll be some color in your 2 granny squares. You're going to need to make 2 of them that are 6 inches. Now, this is a cluster flower granny square. You can use any 6-inch granny square to make this, but I'm going to show you how to do the cluster flower granny square and make it into the bag. Now, you'll also need about maybe an ounce of your other 3 colors. Now, you can use any colors that you want. I just like these because they're bright and cheerful. You could make this in fall colors, Christmas colors, Valentine's Day colors, because this makes a great gift bag as well as a fun little purse. It's perfect for the littles who want to put their treasures inside, but it's also great for you if you want to just carry your phone and your wallet. You can make your straps a lot longer and make it a crossbody bag. And then you can walk around the fair or the park or go for a jog or whatever you want to do and have that with you without having to carry your whole purse. All right? We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You need a good pair of scissors because we're going to cut those fringe and trim it. And then you also need a needle. So to make our little granny bag, you're going to need 2 6-inch squares. And again, we're going to be making the cluster flower 6-inch square. All right, so we're going to start with one of our colors. And of course, the color choices and where you place your colors is totally up to you. I'm going to begin with my teal color here. We're going to chain 5. We're going to join this into a circle. We'll tie that little stay knot. And if you prefer to use the magic circle or another method to make your circle here, you certainly can. So now we're going to put our hook in the circle, pull up a loop, and chain 4. This chain 4 counts as a double crochet, chain 1. And now we're going to stitch 11 more sets of double crochet, chain 1. This will give us a total of 12 sets. You'll also notice that I'm stitching over that tail of yarn. That way I can close up that hole when I'm finished. Now this will be a little bit snug because we want to have 12 total sets. Let's see how many that I've completed. So our chain 4 counts as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need 2 more. Here's 11 and 12. Now when we join, you want to join to that 3rd chain, not the 4th. Then we're going to slip stitch in that chain 1 space and just chain 1 just to get us where we need to be. And so for row 1, we have 12 sets of double crochet chain 1. Now I'm going to turn this over and pull on that string of yarn. I'm going to grab my needle and I'm going to go ahead and weave this in. Now you can wait to the end of your project if you want to, but I want to go ahead and just get it over with. There we go. I'm one of those people who likes to weave in as she goes for the most part. But if you're not, you can wait till you're all done with your 6-inch square, because we will have some more weaving in to do because we're changing colors every row. But of course, you don't have to if you don't want. All right, so there's row 1, 12 sets of double crochet chain 1. Now for row 2, I'm going to be changing colors. So I'm going to take out that little chain 1 we put in there. That was just so that I would have it so that I could weave in the back without that loop coming out. All right, so I'm going to bring in my color 2. I'm going to go in this chain 1 space. Whoops, get on there. That loop didn't want to come on there. There we go. And I'm going to chain 2. All right, now we're going to be placing 2 double crochet cluster in each one of our chain 1 spaces with a chain 1 in between. This chain 2 will count as the first portion of our cluster. All right, so we're going to yarn over, we're going to go in, pull up a loop, we're going to go through the first 2, and then we're going to yarn over and go through the second 2. That counts as our first 2 double crochet cluster. We're going to chain 1 and then move to the next chain 1 space. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and only go through the first 2 loops. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through the first 2 loops. Now it looks like I have 2 double crochets that are not completed, but I do have 3 loops on my hook. So we're going to yarn over, go through all 3 of those loops, and chain 1. That is the actual 2 double crochet cluster. And then chain 1. We're going to do this in each of these chain 1 spaces. And chain 1. This is our 2 double crochet cluster. And so in each of our chain 1 spaces, we're stitching a 2 double crochet cluster, chain 1, and we'll do this all the way around our granny square. I've completed row 2. Now we're going to bring in our 3rd color. I've already cut my color 2. There we go. We're going to go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. We're going to double crochet in that same chain 1 space, chain 1, and then 2 double crochets. We're forming our corners on this row. We're going to chain 1, stitch 2 double crochets in the next chain 1 space, and chain 1. Then we'll stitch 2 double crochets in the next chain 1 space, and chain 1. So we've completed a corner in our side. Now we'll go to the next chain 1 space and stitch 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets, and chain 1. Then we'll go to the next 2 chain 1 spaces and stitch 2 double crochets, chain 1. So now we've completed a second corner and our side. So we're just going to repeat what we did here 2 more times. I have completed row 3. We have our 4 corners and our 2 groups or sets of 2 double crochet, chain 1 on each side, and that gives us 3 chain 1 spaces on each side, and of course our 4 corners. Now we're going to bring in our next color, which I'm going to use this pretty lemon yellow. There we go. So we'll go in the chain 1 space of our corner and chain 3. We'll double crochet in that same chain 1 space, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. Now remember, if you change colors, your chain 3 or your chain 2 on the cluster rows, you need to make sure you do that after your color change. If you're not changing colors, then you don't have to do that. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet in the second double crochet, 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space, 1 double crochet in the 2 double crochets, double crochet in the chain 1 space, 1 double crochet in the 2 double crochets, there we go, 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space, and then only double crochet in that first double crochet. We're going to skip that second one and go right to our chain 1 space and stitch our corner. 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. And this is going to give us a nice solid row of double crochets for this row. Alright, let's do this side. We're going to skip this first double crochet and double crochet in that second one, and then we'll double crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces and double crochets across till we reach that last double crochet on this side. There we go. Alrighty, so we're just going to double crochet in this first one. We're going to skip that next one and go right to our chain 1 space in our corner and stitch our corner. 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. Alright, see how that gives us a nice even row of double crochets? So what we're going to do is we're going to repeat over here what we did over here for that nice row of double crochets. I completed row 4, that solid row of double crochets. I'm going to cut my yellow because I'm bringing back in my teal color. And I do suggest that on your 5th row you use your main color, because we're making 2 and we're going to be putting them together, and it helps with the colors not showing through if you use the same color that you're going to sew your bag or stitch your bag together. But of course, it's up to you. Alright, so let's bring in our new color, which is our color 1, of course. And basically what we're doing on row 5 is the same as what we did on row 4. We're just going to have more stitches across. Alright, so I chain 3, double crochet, chain 1 and 2 double crochets in the corner. We're going to skip the first double crochet and just double crochet in each of the stitches across until we reach that last double crochet. And remember, we're going to skip that last double crochet like we did on the previous row. So we'll skip that double crochet and go right to the corner and stitch our corner. 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. We'll skip that first double crochet and stitch a double crochet in each of the stitches across. And then when we get to that last one, we'll skip the last double crochet and go right to the next corner. Here's my last one. I'll go right to the corner and stitch my corner. 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. Alright, so I'll just repeat this on these 2 sides and join back to that chain 3. I completed that 5th row and I'm leaving my yarn attached, and you're going to need 2 squares that are 6 inches, and like I said, you don't have to use the square that I made. You can use any 6-inch square to make this granny bag. Okay, you need to take a few minutes and weave in all your ends in the back, and the only one you want to leave attached is the last one. We joined to our chain 3, we slip stitched in our double crochet and then slip stitched in the chain 1 space of the corner. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take them and we're going to put the right sides together. All right, and so what we're going to do is we're going to stitch down, we're going to stitch across, and then back up, okay? All right, so we've got them together. We've got our wrong sides out and our right sides in. I'm going to go in this chain 1 space. I'm going to grab that loop, pull it in, and chain 1. All right, now you'll notice that there are 2 sets of loops. We're going to be stitching on the front loop on this side and the back loop on this side. Those are the outside loops, okay? So we're going to go in here and here and stitch a single crochet. So we're going to the outside loop on this side and the back loop on this side, or the front and back, and stitch a single crochet. And we're going to do this working all the way down the side of our bag. And the reason that I was saying you want to stick with the color you used on your 5th row is how it's going to look on the front. And let me show you. When you open this up, you can see those rows of loops. They're together, but you can also see a little bit of your stitch in there. And it looks neater if that is the same color of that last row. All right, so what we're going to do is just work down to this corner, across the bottom to this corner, and then across the side over here. We're not going to go across the top because we're going to leave that open. So we're stitching through the front and the back loop of the two sides, or the outer loops, around our granny bag. And you're just going to move around the corner with those stitches. And it should move around nice and smoothly as long as everything stays lined up. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to keep on stitching single crochets in my outer loops around the three sides of my bag. I have single crocheted all the way around the three sides, and I'm going to flip my bag out to the right side out. Isn't that the cutest thing? I just love this. So much fun. Now we're going to chain 3. I've already chained 1, 2, 3, and we're going to stitch a row of double crochets around the top of our bag opening. And I'm doing this all in the same color. And of course, if you don't want to, you can use whatever colors that you want. I would love to see all the color combinations that you all make. All right, I just want to show you when you get to the end of the front and you're moving to the back, you just keep right on double crocheting in those double crochet stitches. That one was a little snug. All right, and then I put one in that chain 1 space. Then I go over to the back and put one in the chain 1 space. And then I just start again stitching double crochets. I think it holds it nicely and helps it hold its shape. And then we'll stitch double crochets across the back. All right. I have double crocheted around the top of my bag. I'm going to join to that chain 3, and I'm going to chain 4. This chain 4 counts as a double crochet chain 1. We're going to skip the next stitch and then double crochet in the next stitch and chain 1. And so what we're doing is we're making a spot for our drawstrings to go. And so we're just alternating double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, skip the next, double crochet in the next, and chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1. And we're going to do this all the way around for this row. And when we put our drawstrings in, they'll go right through those holes of that row. And we'll repeat this all the way around and join back to the chain 3 of that chain 4. So I repeated that all the way around, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Here's my last chain 1. I'm going to join to the 3rd chain of that chain 4 and chain 3. And now for this row, we're going to do another row of solid double crochet. So we'll double crochet in all the chain 1 spaces and double crochet in all the double crochets. And now you can see how having that alternating row will give us a space for our drawstrings. So I'm double crocheting in all the double crochets and double crocheting in all the chain one spaces, working all the way around for this row. So I stitched that row of double crochet, stitching in each chain one space and double crochet. I'm going to join to the chain 3 and I'm just going to chain 1. And for our last row on this bag, we're just going to stitch a row of single crochet in each of those double crochet stitches around. And that's just going to give it a little bit of security, or a nice way for it to hold its shape. So 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around the top of our bag. So I stitched a row of single crochet along the top of my bag. I'm going to join to that first single crochet with the slip stitch and cut my yarn. And again, remember, I did all these colors the same on my bag, these rows here and the stitching. You can do however that you want to. Just get in your yarn stash and have a little bit of fun and come up with some really fun little bags. And this is how the bag looks. Now I'm going to show you how to make those drawstrings. So on this one, I did the drawstrings the same color as the bag. But for today's demonstration, I'm going to use the yellow so that you can see exactly where to put those drawstrings in and how to do them. So what we're going to do is we're going to make 2 of these chains that are 50 chains long. If you want this to be longer, like a crossbody bag, you can chain as many as you want to. All right, but we're going to make 2 that are 50 chains long. So I have made 2 chains that are 50 chains long, and again, you can make them as long as you want to. All right, and so what we're going to do is this one, I'm going to start over here and I'm just going to lace my crochet hook through there. And pull that through. Then we'll turn it the other way. And this time I'm going to put my crochet hook in backwards. And pull it through this way. All right, and you just go in and out of those chain 1 spaces. And then we're going to tie the end together. Now if you just want 1 drawstring, works just fine. But I like to do the 2 so you have a double handle. And I'm going to put 2 knots in the end of my chains because I want them to stay and be secure. Then I'll just kind of clip it off like that. All right, so if you just want 1 drawstring, works great. But I think this bag looks better if it has 2. And so now what we're going to do with this one is we're going to start this way and go around. So we're going to go right back in these same loops. Grab that chain. And then we'll turn this way. And I'll do what I did earlier. Actually, you need to do it this way. My voice is starting to get a little bit dry. There we go. And we'll make sure we grab that right chain and pull it through. All right. And now you have a double drawstring. And we'll go ahead and tie this. And again, I like to get it as close as I can to the ends of those chains. There we go. And then I tie a second knot. I just don't want it to come undone. And I like it with the yellow ties. You know, whether you want to do it the same color as the bag or not, it still looks really pretty. And again, you can make your drawstrings as long as you would like them. And when I use a drawstring, I usually do a little knot here to carry it, but you don't have to. It just looks cute. All right, now you don't have to put the fringe on the bottom of your bag if you don't want to. This makes a lovely gift bag or purse as is, or treasure bag. All right, but I really love it with the fringe. And so I'm going to show you how to add that fringe on just in case you want to add it. So all I did is I cut 12-inch pieces of my yarn in all the colors, and then I also cut extras in my main color. And so each one is 2 strands of yarn, and I used my main color along with my extra colors. All right, and it's really simple what you do. You grab the 2, and you can see how that looks. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to go ahead and just take this end one out so that you can see. And once you have enough of your yarn strands cut, you're going to take 2 strands and you're going to go along the bottom and you're going to go through those 2 loops we didn't stitch in and just loop them on. And you just do that all the way across the bottom for a fun fringe look. And of course this one needs a little trimming, and so I'll just take my good scissors and trim it up a little bit so it's nice and neat. So here are our fun little granny square bags using a cluster flower granny square. But again, you can use any 6-inch square to make this style. And if you want this bag bigger, just continue to do your rows around like we did on this last row, increasing every row, and your bag will get bigger and bigger, and you can make a really nice size shopping bag. All right, so this one is the one we did today without the fringe, and then this one is the one I did earlier with the fringe. I love them both.